One of the things that makes theater so special in the world of art is that it does only exist for a very brief moment.
3, 4, 1.
I mean, you're there every night for 8 weeks. You have to give up your nightlife. You're working all day or you're going to school all day, then you're going right to rehearsal. It's 3 to 3.5 hours a night for 8 weeks. It's almost 160 hours that you're putting on this musical.
The work that we do is all done by hand, building things by hand, sewing costumes by hand. Anything else that uses that much human energy, especially in our current society, is usually something that's kept and treasured. But for us, it's only going to exist for this brief little moment. It all starts with the text of that script, that play, that musical, whatever it happens to be. Whether or not that script has already been done a million times, or whether or not it's a brand new script, it all starts with the text. So the director and the producer, they've selected a script. Boom, all right, that's step number 1. 2 things have to happen for us to move into the next part of the process. The director needs to pick their production team, and then also they have to start going into the casting process as well.
My name is Mark Frank, and I am the director of Sister Act, the musical, Divine Musical Comedies. It's a team effort, so it's not just me. It's you kind of find your rock stars to surround you, and then it becomes a big team effort for success.
There had to be some time for casting, right? Most people understand that sort of process where anybody who wants to come in gets to come in, and the stage manager will have stuff for them to read, and it's that easy. Or if it's a musical, they may be required to come in with 16 or 32 measures of a prepared song. It gives the director a chance to sort of see people together and sort of start to put that cast together, both in terms of their emotional qualities, but also visually as well.
When we pick a show, we go, do we have the cast in the community and the college to do this show?
Oh, hi, my name's Mikaela. I'm playing Michelle Hooker. Dolores' understudy. And
Unfortunately, our huge guest artist, her father died right during auditions. One of the backup singers for our guest artist, Mikaela Scott, moved into the role and really helped and saved the show.
I was the lead's understudy, and then I was the lead, so I was not prepared to have such a large role.
They'll actually finally make their final decisions and cast the show, and boom, so off they go into their first rehearsal.
First of all, thank you so much for auditioning. I think you all did an awesome job. Me and Laura were very impressed with you.
But a read-through rehearsal is just director, stage manager, all of the actors, designers might be there as well.
You know, I'm gonna send it this way.
I'm Stephanie. Yay! I am I'm Stephanie Stone. I am the stage manager, and I'm also the lighting designer. Making sure everyone's where they need to be at the right time, everyone shows up on time, making sure that everything runs smoothly.
So a read-through, usually this will happen at the very first rehearsal if there's time, and the actors are actually reading the lines out loud for everyone to hear.
Let him hide that girl, sure as a tide, that girl will show.
So it gives everybody a sense of the show, and it's your first time hearing these words spoken out loud in the actors' voices.
They need to hide a wayward woman in our convent.
A wayward woman? But Monsignor, I don't...
They are making a generous financial donation.
I see.
Now, the rehearsal process for community theater, kind of semi-professional or regional theater, usually that is somewhere in the kind of 6 to 8 week-ish range. Most shows have roughly about 2 months to go from first rehearsal to opening night. So all the way upstage here, right, we've got an 8-foot turntable right here, right? And then the big wall that you can kind of see on your copy in the back here. So you've got 2 giant columns, big stone wall, and then our big projection surface. So now, usually at the same time that everything is getting built, all of the actors are in rehearsal. Usually the first couple weeks of rehearsal are specifically for blocking, for the actors to learn the movements that the director wants them to take.
So in '83, when the newscaster comes on, the newscaster will be on the revolve Garner.
Blocking is the term that we use for movement on stage that's not choreography, right? So anything that's not like a dance step set to music.
Mary Roberts, this does not concern you, and you're going to take a step into her, I said no.
Blocking is kind of taken at the actor's natural pace because it's things like walking or standing up, things that we do every day.
And then when she sits up and screams, can you scream and then you scream and then you all scream for a second?
It's basically the same thing as blocking, except choreography is the dance steps that are timed specifically to the music in the show.
We're gonna do Sunday Morning Fever, but we need to finish the Take Me to Heaven first.
I've been thinking about you since receiving your call.
Those are rehearsals that are specifically for the choreographer to teach all of the dance steps to the cast.
You are simply 2D, and then arms go, and it's kind of like a down.
And unfortunately for actors, I feel like sometimes the amount of work they have to put in isn't recognized because we just, they're just having fun acting, when it's a ton of work. The emotional toll, the physical toll.
This is just not something that I had done in a hot minute, and I just didn't want super large responsibility. It didn't really hit me until maybe a few weeks ago, like how much I had on my shoulders.
No, it does not. No, it's Dolores. And cross over to Val's right.
It's been fun. It's been fun. I never expected to be anyone's lead in anyone's musical, honestly.
Everybody knows sis, back in Genesis, and taking the good word of the third, we may have to loud.
Once the actors have memorized their lines, they've gotten all their blocking from the director, they've learned the fights, the choreography, whatever else. Usually the last week of the rehearsal process is really just running the show, so they'll get to a process where rehearsal is no longer about talking about character or motivations or tactics. It's really just about running that show over and over and over again.
I've never been part of a production that's been so loving, like very caring, and everyone's just super uplifting, and it's just so much fun.
I've taught her everything she knew.
That is correct. I'm playing the character of Pablo, which is a guy, so I've just been having like a hard time, like being like a bully, and that whole thing, just like the whole like adapting into a man. But other than that, and singing with the boys is like so different than like singing with like the girlies,
The week before the show opens, you go into a tech process. This is where we're finally bringing everything together.
I'm ready to have fun. We're gonna go find my baby, because I ain't letting her go.
Designer Watch, usually it's really the first time that everybody is in the same room at the same time. We have actors on stage, we have designers in the audience.
Loosen up those vestments just to be here.
It's all about the script, and it's all about going from place to place on stage, but then you add in all the elements that you may not have those 5 weeks, so things change.
I think it's going pretty well. I mean, it's always kind of rough. I mean, always, but I think it'll come together eventually.
They've learned the blocking, they've learned the lines, they know the choreography. Now it's about running this show, making sure that we've got everything tightened up. But you go from everything being very compartmentalized, like the scenery is in the scene shop getting built, the actors are in the rehearsal space. Everything kind of gets chunked together during tech, that first big Q to Q tech day.
It's really fun to see the show with like lights and sound cues and everything.
Oh, why, thank you.
Of course.
Wow.
And it's just so much different from the regular rehearsal process.
There are so many factors that you have to worry about when you're on stage. You're worrying about whether you remember your lines, if you're remembering the lyrics to your songs. You're constantly worried about all these moving parts.
That day of tech until you open is sometimes only a couple days, 2 or 3 days.
So we don't lose pieces.
You literally go from everyone doing their own thing apart to everything getting thrown together, and we have an audience sometimes in the span of less than a week.
Oh, I called you Sweaty Eddie.
Dress rehearsals, we run them basically exactly like a show, full costume, full makeup, all the lights, all the sound.
Coming.
Everyone's performing just like they will when there's an actual audience. We really usually only get 2 or 3 rehearsals with everything all together before we open.
Kind of freaking out, kind of peeing a little bit, but it's okay because it's in character, because I'm really old.
So you run the show for however long it's going to run. In community theater or academic theater or small semi-professional theater, that tends to maybe be 2, 3, maybe 4 weekends.
It's time to start living the life like
opening night is like everything you work towards, they're getting, and you let go of them. It's kind of like letting your daughter ride a tricycle and then letting her go and not helping her anymore. They have the show, it's their show.
I think the most fulfilling part is seeing it completed, seeing it from very top to very end. The story is complete.
You spent all this time and energy trying to craft this perfect artistic statement, and you ran it. The people came in, they experienced what they experienced. Hopefully they enjoyed it if that was the point of the show, and everything goes away.
Everybody that's not sweeping, go see if Emily needs anything.
Scenery has been broken apart and back down to lumber that can be reused. Costumes are put back, the props are put away.
Say goodbye, thank you.
Strike is sometimes sad if you really had a great experience with the show. Because, you know, you put all this work into the show over the last 2 months approximately, and now, you know, basically in the span of 2 or 3 hours, everything's gonna be gone and out of the theater.
I always tell them, embrace this moment. Think about being on stage and being in this role and how much fun you're having, because in 20 years you'll miss it and you'll look back at it and say, man, I should have embraced that more, because it does go fast. Time does go fast.
Thank you guys. Thanks, guys.